Hi garden friends. Today I'm at Iseli Nursery with a true conifer expert, and he's going to share some really fun and helpful tips about planting, soil, and the varieties of dwarf conifers for small space gardens. We're going to walk through the display gardens together and get lots of inspiration. So let's go, shall we? Today I'm at Iseli Nursery, which is a spectacular nursery known worldwide for their beautiful conifers. And I'm with Roby today, and he is the marketing director for Iseli Nursery. Thank you so much for having me today, Roby. I'm like a kid in a candy store. What can you tell me about how small space gardeners can use conifers in their garden?
Sure, yeah. So we have a huge variety of cultivars. There's some large, medium, small, but ultimately we are known for specializing in dwarf conifers. So we have quite a few smaller varieties that grow quite slowly. They take up a lot less space. So they're perfect for containers, for patios, for the small spaces that you're talking about. We have different colors and textures. So there's a lot of different options for those sorts of plants.
Terrific. So we're going to take a little bit of a walk around and do a little bit of a tour of this fabulous nursery. Let's go.
Perfect.
Shall we? You know that feeling when you step into a place and immediately know you're somewhere special? Iseli Nursery is a 1,000-acre conifer paradise in the Pacific Northwest. Spectacular. These aren't your typical evergreens. Electric blues, deep burgundies, chartreuse greens. This is a display garden that's going to completely change how you think about conifers. Let's find out more about these conifers and all of the beauty that they hold. So what do we have here, Roby? This is absolutely beautiful.
Yes, so this is moonstone, Picea pungens moonstone. It's a Colorado blue spruce. So this one is part of our Iseli Blues collection, and in fact this is our Iseli Blues garden. So we have 3 cultivars in this collection: Moonstone, Monty, and our newest one is Deja Blue. This is the really compact option as a replacement for globosa. It's a really icy blue color, a nice vibrant blue in the spring, then it turns more icy blue in the summer. All right, so these are 2 great options. These are not conifers, these are Ilex crenata, so Japanese holly. They look very similar, but these are 2 different cultivars. So we have Jersey Jewel, and then we have Dwarf Pagoda. And they're going to grow quite slow, and they tend to grow a little faster here. So I think these would be perfect for a pot, for bonsai, an excellent choice.
I was just going to ask you about whether or not they would be great in pots.
Absolutely. I mean, you can definitely put a lot of different plants in pots depending on the size of the pot, and it is going to slow down the growth somewhat because it's going to constrain the roots. I honestly think that they're going to max out at about an inch or so a year. So it's going to be a long time before they're outgrowing their size.
Right.
And they have these nice little berries.
Ooh. Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah. Look at those berries. Nice. And that leaf structure is fabulous. Or, you know.
I'm a huge fan of these. I love these.
These are super, super dense. And wow, they're really, really strong branching on them too. This grouping of 3 over here.
This is a Juniper communis compressa. I don't believe we're growing as many of these now, but it's a super narrow. There are narrow junipers. Now, one thing I will point out is that with a lot of the plants in this garden, they have a natural form and they are pruned to accentuate that form. So these are technically sheared to keep them nice and tight, but their habit is going to be narrow regardless.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. And so if you see the greenhouses on the hill there, the farm goes way past that. So it just goes on and on.
So look how far out it goes. Now, how many acres is it out here, Roby?
The property is about 1,000 acres.
And the whole blues collection is just really kind of a work in progress a little bit, would you say?
Basically, it takes about 20 years from inception to market. So these have been in the process for decades.
Wow.
So there's only 3 for this collection. There's not going to be more. You know, if we're going to focus on more contained things, maybe these aren't for you, but Monty is a nice one if you're looking for, you know, a little bit taller. It's a Christmas tree shape, 8 feet tall, 6 feet wide, very dense habit. And then Deja Blue is in for people that perhaps want something a little bit more sizable. It will fill in a lot faster.
What do we have here, Roby?
Well, this right here is one of our true dwarf mugo pines. This is called Pesto. This is our newest mugo pine. It is a low profile. Our garden size for this is 1 foot high by 3 feet wide, so it really functions almost as a more ground cover type mugo pine. Mugo pines are super hardy. They can function maybe in the shade up to zone 9. We're in zone 8 here, and then they can go all the way to zone 2. So their
Wow.
range is pretty extensive.
My goodness.
Yep, and they have a nice green color all year. So, you know, it may not be your center focal point, but I do think that it adds a nice green texture to
Yes.
to the garden.
And now what's the one there right next to you?
Yeah, so this is Sky Pencil Seedling. It has no name. It's similar, perhaps in some ways, to what we looked at earlier with Dwarf Pagoda and the Jersey Jewel. So this is Larhide, and it is one of a couple different, a few different pines that go from green in the summer to a nice bright gold in the winter.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely a smaller, more compact mugo. And I think that it's just nice to have that transition in the winter to this kind of bright gold. Definitely showcases nicely.
Gorgeous.
So this is our True Dwarf garden. True Dwarf is super hardy with the temperature, but also, you know, this is a, you know, I guess you'd term it as a hell strip that, you know, along a roadside where they get quite hot in the summer.
Yes.
There's runoff, which is why they're mounded, so that they aren't going to get overly saturated. But they can take a lot of abuse from the elements, and I think that they're a great option for difficult situations, rock gardens, along a roadway, etc.
So with that being said, there obviously must be drought tolerant.
Yeah, and I think like anything, you know, that is a caveat on them being established. So once they become more established, then yes. But initially you're going to have a little bit of, you know, irrigation to get them started.
Sure. Yeah. Well, those are spectacular too.
So this is all built in about 2008. So everything here was planted at that time, and it has definitely filled in since then.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, not bad.
Wow. Beautiful. I noticed that most of these are in a berm type of a situation,
Yes.
and so you're gonna plant them a little high. Would
Yeah.
you say?
So I would say that from a design standpoint, I think it showcases nicely to have them elevated, but also it does allow them to drain well. And we do have some lawn still around. This lawn is often quite soggy, and I don't think the conifers would appreciate that in the winter. In the summer, it's not really a big issue, obviously, but in the winter, we do get a fair amount of rain and it kind of pools down here. So it prevents them from getting any root rot issues. So that's something to consider for sure. And with conifers, they can often grow roots into the winter season. So planting them in the fall, especially in the Northwest, is a great idea.
Yes, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a Pinus coriensis called Blue Ball, and I just planted one in my garden. I love it. It's very small, compact, maybe an inch or two a year growth. But what I love about these is the two-tone needles. It's got blue and green, very compact, just a really nice addition to the garden.
So that's great to have a collaboration with other horticultural people that are in this gardening world all over the world.
Mm-hmm. No, we have tours from all over the world.
Look at that.
Here, this is an Iseli introduction. So this is called Primo. This is a thuya. It looks like a Cypress, but it is not. It is more cold hardy than a Cypress. And this is great for small spaces. So we have a trio of them here. They have a really nice feathery texture to them. And earlier we had been talking about what conifers maybe have a transition color into the winter. Well, this is one of them. So this is turns to a nice tan coppery color in the winter. And then in the summer it's green. So we still haven't gotten cold enough perhaps to trigger this color change for this one. But it will soon enough, and so it gives you a little bit of seasonality in the garden, even though it is an evergreen conifer.
So is this particular one best in a slightly shaded area?
I would say that they can tolerate some shade, but I wouldn't say that they're a shade. They would prefer full sun, and this is a great one for bonsai, for containers, those smaller spaces that we were talking about. I think the largest one we have in the garden is about 3.5 feet, but it's been around for quite a long time. So I wouldn't expect them to get large anytime soon.
Beautiful. So that is the Primo. Look at that texture on those. Now this is a beautiful specimen plant. I would call that a specimen plant myself because it stands out, and I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so this is Picea glaucopendula, and while it does get height, it's going to stay quite narrow. So it's a great one for narrow spaces. If you're looking for something that's going to make an exclamation point, you could have two of them flanking an entrance. But yeah, it's a great plant, very hardy as well.
Beautiful, gorgeous.
And then here, this is a good example of something that it showcases that conifers continue to grow beyond their 4x4 garden size.
Right.
So this is Little Champion, and it's Cryptomeria that got quite large. So I always tell people when you're looking at a garden size or whatever size you're seeing on a tag, but I think a growth rate is a good indicator of how to estimate a size rather than just, a specific size, because it will not stop at that size.
What do you think most home gardeners get confused about with conifer care?
Spacing is important to consider for sure, because there's so many options for plants and so many different space requirements, and fitting the right plant to the right space is the point. So even though you may be drawn to a certain conifer, it may not be the right fit for your situation. So I think doing your research, finding something that, yes, visually is appealing, but also makes sense for your space. I think drainage is super important. Conifers can be tricky to start, so I think making sure that your soil is appropriate, making sure that it has good drainage, making sure that you water it during the summer but not too much. So definitely doing a little bit of research. I think once it gets established, conifers are very easy to care for. So it's that first year or two, which is the case for a lot of plants when you're putting something in, just making sure it gets through that first summer or winter.
Now, I know that in the Pacific Northwest we're a little more acidic than some other places
Yeah.
on the planet. And how important is that with growing conifers?
Generally speaking, I think acidic soil is preferable, which is why they grow so well out here, one of the reasons. So certain parts of the country are more alkaline, and I think that needs to be focused on. If that is your case, you may want to look into amending the soil or finding something that is more tolerant of a different soil acidity.
Sure. Well, that makes total sense. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
You're looking for small things. And this is a hebe, or not a hebe. It's
Oh, I love hebes, but that's
it's not a
what
hebe.
this
It's a Tsuga canadensis hebifolia. So it looks like a hebe, but it is not. I believe the name comes from the fact that it looks semi like a hebe, but now it's great for shade. It's also a very compact one, has tiny little leaves. So another one that's great for those small spaces.
Wow, look at that. That is spectacular. And what did you say this was, Roby?
It's a Larix camphori. Walter Dingen is the name.
Beautiful. That's spectacular too.
That's Monty. So that's a big one. That's part of our Iseli Blues collection.
And what was the name of this, Roby?
Picea glauca Arneson's Blue.
And what are these tall ones here?
That is Cypress nucatensis jubilee.
Wow, what a mouthful.
Yeah, I know.
Beautiful.
My favorite name is Metasequoia glyptus stroboides, which is our state fossil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now we have other cultivars that are, compact, but that one's a straight species.
So these are called the Chief Joseph, what?
It's the what Chief Joseph, yeah. So it's Pinus contorta Chief Joseph. So, yeah, it's got a nice winter color. They are beautiful if you get one. This is Arn's Dwarf, which I think is a really nice option for like a narrow
Yes.
fir. And I love firs. They're soft needled rather than the pokey like spruce needles.
Well, it's definitely not a Douglas fir.
No, and it's nice. It has like a white, I don't know if it really showcases that well right now, but well, the bark is kind of whitish on the interior.
Oh,
Not that
okay.
that's really something that you showcase since it's so dense. But this has not been pruned. It's super narrow, so I think it's a nice option for a narrow thing. And firs also can take more shade, so it's more tolerant than other plants, other conifers
Right.
of shadier situations. So,
Beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, so this is a heather. We grow a variety of heaths and heathers. So this is
heather.
firefly, and it has a nice chartreuse color, which you might be able to still see some of in the summer, and then this kind of brick red in the winter. We do grow them actually.
Oh.
So yeah,
I
we
know.
have a heath and heather package. We grow them in 4-inch size and also in gallons. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, this has just been spectacular, Roby. I can't thank you enough for allowing me to tour this beautiful garden that I've heard so much about and I've seen grow and develop over the years, and you guys are just doing an absolutely outstanding job with everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we aim to do our best.
Yes. I appreciate you, and thank you once again.
Thank you.
I hope this has inspired you today. I hope you're having a great gardening day. And I'll catch you in the next one.